Let's talk about the book, The Death of Ivan Ilych by Leo Tolstoy. Written in 1886. I read it in December 2020. And the reason I'm bringing up this book is because I just got this copy. So I have two copies. And I just got this copy of the book. This is 1981 that it was printed. I love looking at the dates that books are printed. And I acquired this book. There's this free little tree library in my neighborhood. There's actually like three, but this one in particular always seems to have some great books in it. And I think a trend is going on where people just want to get rid of like physical stuff and like old stuff. Because now you can read books, you can have like 3,000 books all on your iPad or Kindle or whatever. But, I'm kind of old school. I've got an old school. I'm a millennial, old school kind of guy. I like having physical books, and that's you can't really see it, but we got books just piled up out of the frame. But I got this copy, and I was just like, oh yeah, I remember reading this book. The book is about here. I'll read the back cover. Hailed as one of the world's supreme masterpieces on the subject of death and dying. The Death of Ivan Ilych is a story of a worldly careerist, a high court judge who has never given the inevitability of his dying so much as a passing thought. But one day, death announces itself to him, and to his shocked surprise, he is brought face to face with his own mortality. How, Tolstoy asks, does an unreflective man confront his one and only moment of truth? Ooh. Tantalizing, right? So this character, Ivan Ilych, he works a lot. He's successful. He's kind of a high court judge. His friends are jealous of him. He lives a nice life. He has a family. And then one day, he's hanging curtains in his home, like new curtains, and he falls and he hits his side, and it doesn't get better. And then he goes to the doctor and it gets checked out, and it gets worse and worse, and it's terminal. So now he's dying, and he becomes really regretful and hateful towards his family because they never want to talk about the fact that he's dying. He's dying, and no one wants to talk about the fact he's dying. And he thinks about his life and how meaningless it's been. It's been good because he just did what everybody else did, and that's like get a job, climb up the ladder. It's really like a commentary both on like thinking about death and being reflective on it, but also society, how it kind of just coasts, right? And this is, I feel like, especially after the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, society has kind of been generally the same. So the society back in 1886 is probably about the same as it is now, as far as everybody trying to move up and make a name for themselves. And he's confronted with death, and the only person who really understands him is this peasant boy that takes care of him, because no one wants to take care of him. And he's just overwhelmed by this boy who has the compassion and sympathy for him when no one else does. And it speaks volumes about like class, and we don't talk enough about the fact that we're all going to die. We're all just living our lives not thinking that death occurs. And I think it's probably the most important thing to think about. So if you think about the fact that we're going to pass, I feel like people watching this are used to literature and thinking about deep themes of life. But if you think about the end, you realize how finite your life is. So you have to really think and be reflective on how you want your life to be. Because if you don't, you're just going to do what everybody else does. And Ivan Illich, it was a good life, right? But that's how regrets happen. Is like when you truly think about oneself and you reflect on your own life, you have to be intentional to make moves how you want your life to be. And that's I think an important aspect of this book. It's a very short book, quick read. So Tolstoy he gets in and out, and but it's pretty profound. I haven't read his other books. War and Peace, right? That's the one that's like this thick. So this one's pretty small. I think that's why I picked it up. Actually, the reason why I originally picked it up was because this is the other copy, right? I love this quote on the back. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Leo Tolstoy. Nice. I really enjoy reading philosophical fiction. I want to think about life. I just want to really think and just explore those deep meanings of life. And to me, like conversations like that's where I want to go. I want to go there and explore that. And so what I think about is the importance of, if we have a life to live, like you gotta live it as best you can, and you kind of have to step back from the rest of society and the title chasing and the money chasing, and you have to think and make your moves in life accordingly. So that's what this book is about. It's about dying, and at the very end, well, I don't want to ruin it for you. So, but yeah, you have to confront death.